welcome everybody on this very cold February 26th day, a day much like Moll probably experienced as she lived in her hut in a small wood and stream outside of right where we are now. It was not called Leonardtown then. St. Mary's County was the home of many of us standing in the audience now, and was Moll's home. Welcome to the first annual Moll Dyer Day, a celebration of the legend of Moll Dyer, an early citizen of St. Mary's County. For those of us who grew up in St. Mary's County, the Moll Dyer Rock was a destination of intrigue and fear. As children visiting the rock, laying our hands where the legend says Moll laid hers, we learned that Moll was a witch, and that she had died when other community members burned her home, forcing her out into a cold February day, much like today. And we can kind of imagine what that must have felt like. Even then, as a child myself, the legend of the witch made me hunger for the details of Moll's story, and in part ignited my interest in the history of St. Mary's County. This time last year, our mayor, Dean Burris, declared February 26th Moll Dyer Day. And when our small Moll Dyer Day planning committee first came together, we discussed how to frame the activities and events that we would celebrate today. Was it a celebration? How? After the horrible death of a community member at the hands of others, that didn't seem like a celebration. Did we want to continue the 2022 narrative that Moll was a witch and approach her simplistic Halloween as a simplistic Halloween figure? Did we want to use the day to strengthen our community by highlighting how we should care for those on the margins of society, like Moll was, who are different, and instead use the day to encourage us all to be kind? Did we want to focus on the history of the witch hysteria of the 17th century and Moll's place in that story? The discussion among us was a valuable bonding experience. In the end, we hope that we have provided a celebration of Moll as the legend, together with a deeper understanding of Moll Dyer, who set out from England in the mid-1600s to find a new life for herself in the New World, and who struggled to gain a place for herself when she got here. We hope to have captured a celebration of the legend, which has been the stuff of intrigue for St. Mary's Countyans, and to honor the woman who came to us, as many of us did, to find a new place in the world. I'd like to give special thanks to the following people and groups who contributed this weekend: the Leonardtown Business Association, St. Mary's County Historical Society Chairman, Dr. John Roach, President Peter Laporte, Executive Director of the St. Mary's County Historical Society. Is Peter behind the camera? Dan Burris, our mayor, who we'll hear from in a couple of minutes. Lachelle McKay, administrator for the Town of Leonardtown. Where's Lachelle? Brandy Blackstone, public relations and events for the town. Miss Brandy. Visit St. Mary's, Barbara Zapato. We'll hear from Barbara in a couple of minutes. Karen Stone and Andrew Fani of the Museum Division for St. Mary's County. You here today? Lynn Bonberry, Moll Dyer's biggest supporter, and whose book about Moll are on sale under the portico there. And Scott Sanders of Tobacco Barn Distillery, makers of Moll Dyer cinnamon whiskey. Finally, Jean Wood, Teeny Guy, and Mary Wolf of the Historical Society, who have worked to make this day a success. A couple housekeeping notes before we start. The restroom is in Tudor Hall, up the ramp. Lynn's book will be on sale under the portico. We have other books available as well, and the event is being videotaped by Mr. Laporte for a later posting on the website. Please now welcome Dan Burris, Mayor of the Town of Leonardtown.
Thank you, Catherine. How's everybody doing this morning? Yeah, beautiful day in Leonardtown. Nice and warm. I hope you all enjoy this whole weekend, not just today. It even kicked off last night. Had a great presentation last night about Moll Dyer and her travels to get here, and invention serving free. So It was a great history lesson, and just we're going to be talking about all the other events that are going to be taking place today. So enjoy yourselves and welcome to Leonardtown. Let's get started.
Barbara, together with Joe Curley of the Rex, are going to tell us about the events today.
Good morning, Leonardtown. I wasn't very enthusiastic. Maybe you can't hear me. Good morning, Leonardtown. Does anybody know what the theme of the Moll Dyer Day this year is? Thank you. Let's say it one more time because we really want to practice that this weekend. Be kind. So I'm Barbara Sapato. I'm the Executive Director for Visit St. Mary's, Maryland. I'm pretty new, first-time speaker at an event. I have the amazing job of telling people about this beautiful and historic place that you all call home, and I call my home now, too. We're not here to talk about me, though. We're here to celebrate the mysterious maven of the Leonardtown legend, Moll Dyer. As a few of the other people have said, we started last night with a really great discussion at the Rex. Is anybody there that's here? Excellent, excellent. It was really good. I think everyone walked away realizing nobody wanted to be a woman in the 17th century. Aside from that, this event and this whole celebration were willed into existence by Peter Laporte, the St. Mary's County Historical Society, and his diligent and steadfast colleague, Catherine Bowman. Let's give them a round of applause. Okay, they brought together the businesses and the town to make sure that the legend of Moll Dyer and Moll Dyer herself are not forgotten. So I encourage everybody here, if you haven't been there, please visit the Historical Society, and I strongly, strongly encourage everyone to support them. And by that I mean give them some money. I want you to reach in your pockets now. I want you to reach in your pockets throughout the day. I want you to give them money because the work that they do is incredible and it is really important. You can walk in that building and you can access so much of Maryland's history, of your family's history. And the records that they preserve on their razor-thin budgets are critical for the preservation of this area's rich culture. So please, please, please give to them generously today and throughout the year. I also want to acknowledge the business community here in town and the leadership employees of Leonardtown. Everybody got named earlier, but a round of applause for the town and for all of you. Okay, I am new to this area, but those of you who have been here know firsthand how far this town has come, and that is the hard work of all the businesses and all of the people that work here in town. So if you enjoy walking these beautiful streets, browsing the shop, enjoying the food, coffee, booze, the energy of the town, it's thanks to their tireless efforts. Okay, let's get back on to the celebration. So I'm going to be bringing Joe up to tell you about all of the details that are going on, but before we do that, we had a contest that we called the Spirits of Spirits contest, and it was a Moll Dyer cocktail contest. So we asked the bartenders and the servers of Leonardtown to concoct a potable potion that celebrates Leonardtown's most mysterious madam, Moll Dyer. Many of the establishments participate, and I can speak to the fact that every one of these cocktails was delicious, because of course I made myself a joke. So, come on. I encourage you to stop by and try them for yourself. I promise they will warm you up today. So before I announce the winners, I want to recognize Scott Sanders and the Tobacco Barn Distillery for providing part of the prize packages. If you haven't been to Tobacco Barn Distillery, you're missing something special. They offer tastings every weekend, and I couldn't tell you which is better, the tasty bourbon or the amazing stories that go along with it. They take you on a journey of bourbon from this area. You can schedule a tour on their website, and you will learn, that, as I recently did, that St. Mary's County is actually the birthplace of bourbon. Sorry to anyone from Kentucky in the audience. I also want to thank Captain Phil from Fish the Bay Charters for his generous contributions to the prize package. Starting in May, Fish the Bay Charters will be running sunset cruises from the Leonardtown Wharf again on Saturday nights. And new this year, we're going to run a 3-hour cruise that will take you out to St. Clement's Island in the afternoon. You could spend an hour on the island, have a picnic, explore the history, have fun, and then take the boat back. Should be a great time. There's also going to be sunset cruises out of Pier 450 down in South County, if you haven't been there, that will go up the St. Mary's River, and out of St. Jerome's Creek that will go to Point No Point Lookout. So if you have visitors coming to town, or if you're just looking for something fun to do, you can get those tickets on visitstmarys.com, visitstmarysmd.com. I'm on my own website. Each cruise offers you a different view of the beautiful county, and the tickets are available beginning soon. All right, that's all the plugs. On to the winners. So this was really tough. Our third place goes to a cocktail that was described as a mix of sweet, bubbly, and magical. It's called Spellbound. Congratulations to Kiera Johnson of the Rex. Yeah. Yes. And this drink changes color, so it really is magical. You have to go and see it. So Kiera wins an introductory tastings for 2 at Tobacco Barn Distillery. Second place is awarded to a cocktail that's made up of notes of cherry, cinnamon, and brown sugar, all warm flavors for cold nights or cold afternoons, depending on what you have planned today. It's called Dyer's Fire Old Fashioned, and it was concocted by Allie Wade at Social Coffee House at Cocktail Bar. Congratulations, Allie. And Allie wins a tasting for 2 at Tobacco Barn Distillery and a $50 gift card. So now for the grand prize. The grand prize goes to a potioneer who reached way back into Moll's history and celebrated her Caribbean roots with a mix of rum, lemon, lime, OJ, black tea, and lemonade. The drink is called Stoned Brew, so you can guess it's from Bruder Garden. Hank Havanki, who wins a $100 gift card, a cruise for 2 with Fish the Bay Charters, and a tasting for 4 at Tobacco Barn Distillery. Congratulations, Hank. So now I'm going to introduce Joe Curley from the Rex, who's going to let you know about the wonderful, fun stuff happening in the town. Thank you.
Good morning. Third place. I thought we paid more money than that. This is great to see you guys all out here. King and I, my son, we have our own little quest we've been doing for a few years down here to Tudor Rock. Late night, we live right down the street. It's really cool to see this crowd here and all the appreciation to the Legend of Moll Dyer. King also has the first Moll Dyer t-shirt on today to celebrate the day. All day long, there will be rock painting at EOD Town Cafe. There will also be tarot card readings at Fenwick Street Books and Soft Market all day long. 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., Old Jail Museum, open with Moll Dyer items featured in the gift shop. 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., hourly tasting and tours featuring Moll Dyer whiskey at the Tobacco Barn Distillery. Reservations can be made on the Tobacco Barn Distillery website. 12 p.m. to 4 p.m., themed scavenger hunt at Shepherd's Oldfield Market with prizes. 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., there's a Rex scavenger hunt in the town. You can pick up the flyer in the Rex, and that's got a prize. I think we're giving away Frogtown ice cream cones when the weather gets a little warmer. 5:30 to 7:30, Moll Dyer and the Spirits of St. Mary's featuring medium Debbie Oz at the Tobacco Barn Distillery. Must be 13 years of age or older. Finally, 6 to 8 p.m. and 8:30 to 10:30 p.m., there will be a paranormal investigation and tour starting at Town Hall. That's all we got. Hope you enjoy your day and got plenty of things to do. Thank you, everybody.
Just a real quick note. Unfortunately, if you didn't already get tickets, the Tobacco Barn event is sold out and the paranormal tours are sold out. But don't distress. We're going to be doing paranormal tours all summer long. You get to go into some of the historical areas in town and around the county and do what they do. I won't say any more. So just want to make sure we do that.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, King. Please now welcome Tom Delaney, who regaled us with some music before we started. Tom is a musician, itinerant musician from Edgewater, Annapolis. In addition, he plays piano, harmonica, and other instruments. And he has written the Ballad of Moll Dyer, which he will now sing.
Moll Dyer lived alone tumbled down home, shunned by all, no one came near. They called her a hag, her clothes were rags. When people don't know, they fear. When she was young and her life had just begun, she knew a love so rare. But then amid screams, she lost all her dreams and sank into her despair. They called her a witch, so on a night as black as pitch, they decided to do what must be done. They burned down her home, her fate was unknown. All was well in the morning sun. When she was young and her life had just begun, she knew a love so rare. But then amid screams, she lost all her dreams and sank into her despair. Her body was found frozen to the ground, her handprint deep in a stone. No one would dare admit they were there. Moll Dyer died as she lived alone. Alone. Moll Dyer died alone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tom. One of the things we wanted to do was kind of give some depth to the story of Moll, what she probably experienced being in this county, being an indentured woman, being an indentured woman during the 17th century. We invited Jessica McInerney. Jessica is adjunct professor of history at Salisbury University. She has her master's in history and an EDD in contemporary curriculum theory and instruction. And her area of interest is indentured women during the time period that Moll lived. So she's going to tell us a little bit about what that might have been like. Jessica.
Good morning, everyone. Should have been a little bit shorter in my life. I'm just going to hold it. Thank you. So my name is Jess McInerney, and I would like to thank the St. Mary's County Historical Society and honestly all of you for being so welcoming and kind. Thank you, Peter. Appreciate it. Our celebration of Moll Dyer today is to acknowledge the contributions of indentured women within the Chesapeake. Many women like Moll Dyer left England as indentured servants with the hope of improving their social and economic standing. Conditions in England in the 1600s were tumultuous and included increased rates of poverty. Young men and women made the difficult decision to enter into an indentured contract and risk the unknown travel and environment of the English colonies for the possibility of a better life. We know that Moll Dyer initially left Devon, England to move to the West Indies to work. Sometime later, she was transported on a ship to Maryland. Women like Moll Dyer entered into contracts averaging 4 to 7 years for possible future benefits of marriage above their social class and the possibility of earning money for themselves. Indentured servants in the Chesapeake had difficulty adjusting to the different climate, and many died from disease. In daily life, working in the tobacco fields was difficult physical labor, and there was a very little time for rest or relaxation. Masters controlled all aspects of indentured servants' lives. They couldn't marry or have children without their master's consent. That was because the masters would be financially responsible for their servants, and as many people know, marriage and children cost money and time. They didn't want to agree to that. When some indentured servants tried to rebel against this control, they were punished physically and had additional time added to their contract. This changing landscape in the daily life of indentured servants is important to know because when indentured women were able to finish their contracts, they still faced barriers and persecution within society. Women, like Moll Dyer, who had finished their contract, had to start over to find jobs and money to support themselves. Women who had the opportunity to marry usually did so for increased support and social standing. However, they gave up their individualism to enter into that marriage. Marriages in the Chesapeake during this time included an agreement where women would not have any individual rights. They weren't able to own property or to have their own wages. That was all controlled by their husbands. So with this context, it becomes very clear that Moll Dyer's life was difficult and misunderstood by her neighbors. At the end of her life, she lived in a small hut outside of town and supported herself the best that she could. Because she was not the typical woman that society expected her to be, she was misunderstood and blamed for the influenza plague in the winter of 1967, 1968. 1960, oh goodness, that would be different. 1698. Sorry about that. Good catch. She was called a witch because she did not fit the mold of a woman within this society. It's important for us to reflect on Moll Dyer's story so we can understand why this persecution happened so we won't repeat similar misunderstandings with others. Like some individuals, Moll Dyer does not fit the mold of what a person was within society. Instead of trying to understand and get to know her as an individual, townspeople labeled her different and a witch. This superstition and ignorance led individuals burning her home down and forcing her to flee into the woods. Her life was cut short based on fear and misunderstanding. Please let us learn from this historical event and promise to listen to understand rather than pass judgment. Strangers can become neighbors through friendly interaction and openness to different people and ideas. Every person is a valuable member of a community, and Moll Dyer's story reminds us that. Please let us not forget the lesson that her story teaches us. Be kind. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Jessica. Please now welcome poet Janice Rossello. Janice is a native St. Mary's Countian, a member of the William Thomas chapter of the NSDAR, a descendant of Maryland Revolutionary War patriot Haswell Magruder. She was first published in 2003, where her poem My Gift won the Editor's Choice Award from the International Society of Poets. Her poetry covers a wide variety of topics from social issues to history and faith. It reflects her spirit and love of St. Mary's County. We welcome Janice to read her poem, Moll Dyer's Stone.
Good morning. Can you hear me? I give to you Moll Dyer's Stone. In a corner of Leonardtown there stands a stone, holding the spirit of a woman that died all alone. Moll Dyer knew her herbs. She lived by herself. She had no need of others, their religion, their wealth. In the year of our Lord, 1697, there came a blizzard that shattered the heavens. This winter was like nothing seen before. It's the work of that witch, the townspeople swore. Through the woods they ran, torches afire, out to the shack of the witch known as Moll Dyer. Moll saw them coming. She slipped out the back. To the ground the townspeople burned that old shack. On that cold winter's night, so long ago, Moll ran for her life through the woods in the snow. The snow came down heavy, the wind lashed at her back, the thunder roared and the lightning cracked. To her knees she fell to that stone, pursued, hated, cold, and alone. Moll cursed the villagers and their seed for all time, impressed in the stone for the spell to bind. Well, now, the people of Leonardtown give that stone a wide berth, fearing the woman, the legend, the curse, whether she was a witch or just a lonely old soul. The stone is still standing, holding the spirit of Moll. Thank you.
I was cold that night, so very cold and afraid. You came to my home with loud voices, with torches, with hatred and anger in your eyes. Why? It was so cold. When I saw you approach, your anger ignited my fear. Why had you come in the middle of the night? What had I done? For years I kept to myself and asked nothing from you. When your wives and children were sick, you asked me for herbs and poultices and I gave them to you. Yet when you saw me, you averted your eyes, not looking at me, not seeing who I am. Standing in the middle of my hut, my home, seeing your torches coming closer, hearing your shouts, I did not know what to do. It was dark and so very cold. Then you stoned my dog, my white dog, my beloved companion, whose barking alerted me to you, and whose cries now drove fear deep into my bones. What had I done? I once bent to offer your child a smile, maybe a freshly picked posy, but you pulled them away and muttered under your breath. I said not a word. On hot days in the fields, I left jugs of water for you, which you drank happily. But when the crops wilted, you threw the cup in my face. That was unkind. But you were never kind to me. You knew nothing about me, of my journeys, of my hopes, my heartaches. You knew nothing of my strength or my weakness, of the lives I touched in the West Indies, the songs I sang, or of my optimism when I arrived here. No! You knew nothing about what I sought to give and wanted so desperately to receive. You gave me a hut and a little land, but withheld your hand of friendship. You were not kind to me. That night I ran deep into the woods. But where was I to go? It was so dark and so very cold. Your shouts died away, replaced by red glow from my house now in flames. It was so cold. I yearned for warmth, even for the warmth of the fire that burned everything I owned. My fear was gone, only weeping remained, and emptiness. You were not kind to me. I laid across that very rock. My hand gripped it so tight that the stone yielded to my fingers. I vowed not to forget you, never! That night I cursed you, all of you! I cursed you and your sons and your daughters and their sons and their daughters for eternity. My curse will plague this county forever. You were not kind to me that cold night. You must be kind. If you learn kindness, my curse will fade and generosity would replace it. Then when you see my handprint on the stone, or when you catch a fleeting glimpse of me or my beloved dog, you will remember what you did to me that cold night. You were not kind to me, no. But I will be kind out of forgiveness of your ignorance. I will be kind so that you may learn kindness towards those weaker than you, those who don't like or those you don't understand. Be kind. Be kind.
Thank you for coming to celebrate the Legend of Moll Dyer with us today, enjoying history, good food, drink, and fun activities. Don't forget to check out the books on sale underneath the overhang. Moll Dyer stickers for your laptops, water bottles, and car bumpers are available for a donation to Angel's Watch, a shelter for women and children serving the Southern Maryland area. Moll Dyer will remain if you would like to have your picture taken with her. Don't forget to take part in the many activities in Leonardtown today. To Moll. Thank you for coming.
They say that music can set your soul free. Let me tell you about the day that it happened to me. I was walking down the street when I heard the church bell ring. I stepped inside as the choir began to sing. The organist played and the music soared. The voices rang out in a mighty chord, and I could feel my heart soften as I entered that sacred space. That's when they sang Amazing Grace. They sang Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound, reaching up to heaven as heaven reached down. Brought God's love to the human race. Miracles happen when they sang